I don't know if you've listened to the podcast before, Lawrence.
I have heard a couple. I heard one where you were complaining about log flumes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was quite recent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harry often complains about things.
Yeah, I don't normally complain on my YouTube channel, so the podcast becomes a place for me to
A real
just ramble.
cesspit of complaining.
Yeah, because I feel like people don't think I have really strong opinions on things, but I genuinely do. It's just
You really do.
I really do. There you go. We also don't know how much of a kind of theme park / roller coaster enthusiast you are.
I am on a scale of 1 to 10, I would put me at 7.
Okay.
7's not bad.
I think that's a pretty good level.
Yeah. What would you call you, Zoe?
I'd say a 6, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Really less than me. I'm surprised actually.
I don't know. I don't know if I identify as one as a human. It's just kind of like it's basically my job. But yeah, I mean, it's slowly grown on me, I guess. So in a few years, I might be a 9.
Wow.
We'll see.
We'll see if we can get you there. We always start the guest episodes off with the same question, and that's why I asked you whether you were kind of a roller coaster enthusiast, because it plays into that a bit. So Zoe will ask you the question now.
If you had free reign to create any coaster type with any theme, what would it be?
That's such a tricky question.
Yeah, it is.
And I haven't heard any of the other answers, so I don't have anything to base mine on.
That's good, really.
I love a accelerator coaster.
Mm-hmm.
I think, to be honest, Hagrid's. I loved Hagrid's. That was a fantastic coaster. So something along those lines, but maybe with just longer. I think.
Mm-hmm.
What theme would I choose? Oh, I don't know. I'm really bad at this. I love a sort of like a Western kind of theme.
Oh, yeah.
I think that worked really well. I think something along those lines. But I think a sort of Hagrid's with lots of different elements. Sort of I love the drop track and the reverse spike and things like that. But yeah, with a sort of a twist on a sort of a Western, maybe with a Western. Really, not very good answer, but I'm going to roll with it.
It's unique compared to other people. We've had a lot of build the biggest RMC ever.
Yeah,
yeah.
Taron.
Yeah,
Taron. Yeah,
I guess Hagrid bike isn't too far off.
True.
Taron.
Yeah,
it's more of like a themey.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like multi-launch coasters are the thing right now. A lot of parks seem to be going that direction. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, eh?
A lot of them do seem to be going that direction.
Yeah, I mean, they look like good investments.
Yeah.
I guess they seem to work, unless they don't work, like Hagrid's. So maybe they don't always work.
Yeah, they are. You can go. Yeah, sometimes they're overcomplicated.
For sure.
I think they need to become more issues. You just create a rod for your own back with some of them. But I mean, Hagrid's is when it's running, it's fantastic. It was this time last year actually. I was over there doing that. It seems like a long time ago.
I'm very jealous that you've ridden it.
Yeah.
Very jealous.
Yeah.
It's
it was good.
It's a bucket list ride for me for sure. Anyway, we're I don't know, like 5 minutes into the podcast and we haven't discussed who you are, Lawrence. So I don't know whether you want to just quickly give us a rundown of who you are, a bit about what you do, and provide some context for everyone listening.
Yep. So I work at Paultons Park. I'm the assistant marketing manager. So I look after various things around the park, such as our website, obviously our social media, our sort of marketing strategy, while also doing lots of fun stuff around the park, like sort of creating videos, creating content, and some other techie stuff. Like ticketing, which isn't very interesting. So my parents and my grandparents started Paultons Park in 1983 after buying the land in 1979. It's been in my life forever, really. So I know it pretty well.
1983, I didn't know that was when the park opened.
It was. That's why Tornado Springs, Route 83 is the road.
Oh, look at that! It's sort of the synergy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's relatively old then in terms of theme park. I mean, it's not old, but it's not new.
No.
So
we didn't open as a theme park. It was originally a sort of bird garden and bird.
Oh, really?
area. Yeah, we have sort of some of our oldest residents are actually birds. So yeah, and then we sort of put our first major ride in oh god, I'm gonna get this wrong, 90 something, which was a runaway train, and which is where the Caterpillar is now.
Oh yeah.
And then the Rio Grande is the oldest ride in the park, which was nice.
There you go. Wow, impressive.
So obviously this has been in your whole life for as long as you can remember, but was there kind of like a reason why you did get into this industry rather than going your own way, kind of thing?
Yeah, I just I love it really. I think it's a fantastic industry. Sort of being brought up around it is quite easy to be able to say that, but it really is fantastic. The people in the industry are amazing, and what better place to work than a theme park? I'm very lucky really to be able to work here with some fantastic people, and to sort of have that an idea of what's going on behind the scenes, and be involved in it. Really, I'm really lucky, and I just really enjoy it. I think there's if you enjoy what you're doing, then it's a no-brainer really. I started working here when I was 15 as a ride op, so I've already been here something like 7-8 years. So it just made sense, and I've sort of worked my way up through the ranks, and sort of here I am today, and loved every minute of it. And there's been some challenges, and it's been amazing seeing Tornado Springs come to life as the first real project that I've been involved in from the ground up. So that's been really exciting.
That's cool. I was going to ask, actually, you started as a ride-op. How did that progression kind of go from ride-op to assistant marketing? Yeah,
so as a ride-op, obviously, it was just learning the ropes, getting interacting with people and sort of building confidence and things like that. And then I moved into the resale team in 2017 as a team leader, while also undertaking a big IT project that we had, which was sort of ripping out a whole ticketing infrastructure and putting in a new one, which was quite a big sort of project which we did. And from there, really, just sort of ticketing, CRM, all this kind of stuff sort of comes into play. And it was a natural progression.
Fair enough. I think people are always interested to...
Yeah, we always get asked, what's your tips for like getting into it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the best person to ask.
I think
I've been very lucky, but I mean, just apply really. I mean, there's not much else to say really. I mean, experience is key. And a lot of people that work at theme parks in the higher up roles have started from being an assistant, being a ride operator, working your way up through the ranks, and getting into those more senior roles. We have a lot of members of the team who are now managers and heads of department, which started working here in 1980. Goodness me, it's so unprofessional.
I know. It wasn't even me. It wasn't me. Sorry.
It was me.
Oh, Zoe.
Her phone's on mute, but then
my laptop isn't. Classic.
Absolute rookie move. I can't believe it. Bringing down the Coasterbot name.
We'll edit that bit out.
Yeah, might as well leave it in.
I think I did okay just to keep talking.
Go on.
What was I saying? Yeah, that's it really. Apply. I know it's a tough job market out at the moment, so it's easy for me to say. But yeah, I mean, if you have a vision, have a dream, and just work as hard as you can towards it.
Yeah, we definitely have had other people kind of echo the same thing of they joined as a ride-up or lower in the ranks, and then have just showed that they're willing to work and showed that they're willing to try new things, and slowly made their way up to doing what they're doing now. So I think that is the top tip.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about, the one big thing that everyone wants to talk about probably, and that is Tornado Springs.
Why wouldn't you want to talk about it? It's a fantastic themed area, best themed area in the UK.
Oh, look at this.
So...
It's already going.
Well, marketing and all that.
Yeah.
This is very true. Actually, let's take a step back from Tornado Springs. This is really bad that I can't remember what the dinosaur area is called.
I'll give you a second to try and...
Oh, no.
I know it, but I'm going to wait for you to say
it. I'm not going to lie to you, Lawrence. Like, I can remember Stormchaser, but I always forget the name of Tornado Springs. I don't know why.
Your memory is so bad.
It is shocking. What is it called? Come on,
Harry.
Lost Kingdom? Is it that one?
Yes, it is that one. It is. when Lost Kingdom came about in 2016, I think everyone was a bit like, whoa, this park is just kind of, obviously you'd been doing Peppa Pig and that was kind of well done.
Established.
Yeah, but there was themes there was, stuff going on. But then you debuted Lost Kingdom, and it was kind of like a real step up from what you'd done previously. And it was really kind of quality on the UK stage as well. So I don't know whether perhaps you said the same thing about Lost Kingdom as you are now with Tornado Springs. I mean, did you think Lost Kingdom was one of the best themed areas in the UK when that came about?
Yeah, I think it still is, to be honest. I think it looked as good as it did in 2016 as it does now, and that's something we're really sort of proud of, is keeping things looking as they should. I mean, Peppa Pig World in 2011, if you walk through it now, I challenge you to pick out the sort of the new bits and the old bits, really, because we try and keep it as looking as fresh as possible. So Lost Kingdom was really as you say, a big step, and the first time 2 new coasters were opened at the same time at a UK park in 20 odd years or something, I think. So yeah, it was huge for us, to be honest. And I think, as I say, it still is probably one of the best themed areas in the UK. I mean, I would say that, but we're really proud of it. It's something for everyone. I mean, dinosaurs is the kind of
it's a classic.
It is the kind of thing that everyone loves, whether you're an adult or a child. I mean, everyone can relate to it, and it's easy to theme around as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, I'd say Lost Kingdom looks better than it did in 2016, because all the planting in there. If you'd have seen it in 2016, I mean, some of the best plantings on the Dino Tour Company, the little safari jeep ride.
Yeah,
it's very good. Yeah,
it's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah, the plane in there and stuff.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would agree. It is definitely still one of the best themed areas in the UK. It's just cohesive. There's quite a lot of themed areas in the UK that aren't they don't really fit together. They're not kind of one solid unit of, I'm in this land now, and I could really kind of get behind that idea. But no, Lost Kingdom is, throughout all of the different parts of it, is very, very well done. As you said, it does look brand new still. I mean, we haven't seen the park prior to this year, and
we were blown away.
Everything is maintained really well. Everything looks really nice. Definitely can't really pick out the old stuff to the new stuff.
Except the dinosaurs are great.
And the dinosaurs are great, of course.
The dinosaurs need a lot of maintenance. There's moving. They need a lot of feeding and a lot of looking after to keep them working. But yeah, they're a really really cool piece to have in there. Did you see the interactive show? Was that running when you visited?
I can't imagine it was. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, we have started running it as a social distance
right.
Sort of meet and greet now, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
So also we have a live dinosaur comes out that
oh wow.
Yeah.
They can take photos with.
I've seen it before. Yeah.
It's very very Jurassic Worldy.
I can imagine. Yeah. I do have a question actually. Why did Lost Kingdom come about? It's a very big area and a lot of kind of, as you said, 2 new roller coasters to debut at one point in time. Why kind of the idea of big new areas instead of smaller kind of investments? Does that make sense?
So I think people desire immersive experiences nowadays.
Yeah.
They want to be taken, especially now, taken away from the current world and dropped into somewhere where they can forget about everything else, and that's what a big themed area like that does.
Sure.
We also knew we had Peppa Pig World on one side of the park, which was great for preschoolers up to sort of 6-7 years of age. But we had coasters like Cobra and Edge, but we didn't have a real big draw for that sort of 7 to 12 market. So to sort of keep them coming back after they'd grown up, to try and keep them from 0 to sort of 14, which is obviously our target market. So yeah, we needed something that would really keep them coming back, and they could move from Peppa to Lost Kingdom once they were big enough to be on the rides, once they were ready for something a little bit more thrilling. So that was really the basis behind it. And like all these projects, it turns from 2 rides to 3 rides to 4 rides to 5 rides very, very quickly. Obviously, there's some re-themes in there as well.
Yes.
Which the Dino Chase is a Zero Tivoli, which we had
before.
Before, which was the Flying Frog. So yeah, it was those are the reasons really. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. And I guess the fact that I don't know, was there anything else? I guess there wasn't, was there? What was in the area was already in the area. And did you have to remove things for Lost Kingdom?
Yeah, there was a the rabbit ride, which was a heartbreaking moment seeing the rabbit ride go. That's sort of a very basic sit-down track ride.
Oh, okay.
But it was very popular among the guests, so it was sad to take that out. But obviously, we're putting something bigger and better in. So, and then there was a Japanese garden area and some playground in there, and I don't know what you call it. It was called the Astroglide, like a sit down in the sack. It's at Dreamland Margate now. If you've ever been there.
No, sadly not.
It's the one in the you sit in a sack and you go down the slide.
Right, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so that we removed that, and there was some remote control cars which got relocated, but there wasn't much to remove really, and we were obviously adding another shop, more F&B outlets, 2 new roller coasters, sort of 3 other new attractions. So yeah, it's definitely a good use of land, which is something we like to do, is to reuse land and retheme areas and really use the space we've got as well as possible.
Totally. And I think the only natural progression was to build another new area, but even better than the last one.
Absolutely.
Which definitely seems like is what you're doing with from what we've seen so far of Tornado Springs. I don't know whether you want to go on.
Yeah, Tornado Springs is, obviously, for those that don't know, is our new area opening in March 2021. It's based around Tornado Springs Route 83, which is a 1950s, 60s era town, which is constantly being battered by tornadoes, and the residents have sort of found a way to adapt, and the rides have evolved out of this sort of invention and way of living. So it's got Stormchaser, which is a Mack spinning coaster, Cyclonator, which is a Zamperla gyro swing ride, and a driving school, and 2 zero drop towers, as well as 2 rides which are currently at the park, which are Buffalo Falls, originally Wave Runner, and Trek and Tractors, as well as 2 new playgrounds, an F&B outlet, a big F&B outlet, big restaurant. So yeah, there's a lot in there, and it's you could probably spend all day in there if you wanted to.
Yeah,
I think we plan to, don't we?
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, 2 days. So yeah, it's been it was originally meant to open May this year, but obviously because of COVID, we were doing in lockdown, so we couldn't do that, and made the decision to postpone it until 2021. But I mean, taking the positives out of it, it's really given us that opportunity to spend even more time on it and really get it right, and really make it the hopefully the best themed area in the UK, with Lost Kingdom as the second one.
I love it. I think I think you'll definitely stand a good chance.
Yeah.
I don't really know what else there is that competes majorly. I don't know. The UK kind of has a problem with, like, there's some decent, well-themed rides, but when you kind of talk more areas, things break down very quickly.
Yeah.
There's not many coherent areas that aren't, like, for young children. You know, Thomas Land, CBeebies Land. Those are obviously really nice, and Peppa Pig World as well. But then you can kind of move outside of that, and things just don't mesh that well.
I think it's something the European parks do so well. I mean, really, really well. The Europa Park, Phantasialand, Leesburg, all these kind of parks, Efteling, they do it better than anyone, I think. I mean, obviously Disney do it unbelievably as well. But these sort of where you're having to create your own IP, where you can't just pull off a massive back catalogue of characters and programs like Disney can. Having to create your own and really have a vision. I think the key is being able to explain the story like I have in sort of 2 sentences, because the guest, they're not fussed about the sort of 10 pages of backstory to an area. They're more interested in going on the coasters, which is fine, but I think it just adds that another layer below it, and that's what these large themed areas do, and it allows people to really immerse themselves, which I think is fun.
I think you really do need that additional layer, but as you said, some parks I feel take it too far, and then it becomes, you just can't understand.
Yeah, you have this issue with
Taron
and Kluckheim, where you just don't really get the story.
The backstory is like 500 pages long, and it makes no sense. It just seems like a huge afterthought. Whereas, you know, as you said, you've summarized the new area, Tornado Springs, in 2 sentences.
Yeah, and we all get it. Yeah.
Like, no one could do that about Clogheim because it doesn't really make sense. There isn't a proper story with it. Like, people...
No, I'm not actually sure I know the backstory of Clogheim.
I don't blame you.
I only know it because you've told me,
They
Harry.
don't tell you it. I had to get someone who listened to the podcast of the guy who made it to understand what it was. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic area.
Yeah.
Of course.
It is stunning.
But Tornado Springs will be better.
The rides
yeah?
in there.
Of course.
Yeah, it's definitely
It's up there.
Yeah, it's definitely well themed. I wouldn't say best, but it's the level we've aimed at. I think it's what we wanted to achieve is to have that a high level of theming, a high level of immersion.
Yeah.
To be able to get that guests without confusing.
Definitely. Going back to what you said about European parks doing kind of themed areas particularly well, I feel like it's a very long-term thing to build these themed areas in a kind of coherent way. I mean, many parks across Europe have been building their areas over time, and like you have, they've taken, all right, there's this old area with a few rides, we're going to get rid of a few, and we're going to re-theme the old ones to fit the new stuff. And I really do believe that the best parks are the ones that go back to the old things and go, how can we incorporate this into a new theme land? And I think a good example in Europe is Hansa Park, who basically had just like, literally, they look like traveling rides a decade ago. You look at it now, and it's all really nice themed areas, and it all fits, And if you guys keep going on that trajectory, then I really do think that there's a lot of potential for, I don't know, hopefully even more expansion, and who knows where it will lead Paultons Park.
Who knows? Hopefully, still having guest visitors.
We'll be back for sure.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something there. Is that you can't just keep on adding new stuff. No. You've got to make sure that what you've got is still a draw for people. We could have just built Peppa Pig World and left it and said, okay, well, it's done now, we'll move on. But we obviously went back in 2018, added 2 new rides, made the area even bigger. Another thing to market, another thing to sell. Obviously, we know how popular Peppa Pig is. It's just made obviously complete sense to do that. So yeah, I think otherwise it sticks out like a sore thumb pretty much. I mean, we did the same with Critter Creek, which was obviously a small area, which only has 2 rides in, but it was just originally just the Caterpillar. Sorry, just the Stinger, and a walk-through attraction. But we obviously built a theme around it, which is obviously Professor Blast finding these weird critters on this island. And again, it's just something to look at for the guests when they're walking through. They don't have to go through and take a test on the backstory before they enter the area.
No.
But they can go through. We have a little through interpretation signs out. And like you say, keeping it up together and keeping the original rides looking good. We did a very similar thing with our Rio Grande Train, which you probably won't have seen. Which I mentioned the first ride in the park, 1986. But it was blue. Now we've repainted it red, giving it a full new lease of life. Stuck some new decal on it, and it's going to go through Tornado Springs with a soundtrack playing through it. It's an old favourite for people. They love that ride. People have grown up with it. You've got grandparents bringing their grandkids who visited as sort of as children almost sometimes, which is sort of mind-boggling. Who love the place and always say how good it is and how much they love the original ride. So it's part of our history, and it's something we would never consider getting rid of, which is why we did a lot of planning to build it into Tornado Springs, the Rio Grande. Yeah. It wasn't even a question to remove it. It was, how can we get the track through the coaster sports?
Nice. Yeah. I think that's good, though, to kind of be aware of, almost kind of heritage rides, but at the same time not be afraid to get rid of some of the others. I think it's a very fine balance to hit to make sure that the park's always moving forwards and not being left behind, but then still kind of everyone who's ridden all of these older attractions can still ride them. Yeah,
absolutely. It's I think people really connect with us on a personal level at Paultons, where they've brought family members over multiple generations. They love coming back and seeing what we're doing new and riding the stuff they rode with their kids.
Let's talk about Stormchaser. And I know I've seen from off-ride videos that a few people have shot, and even some of the videos that you've sent yourself, that it looks to be a very well themed again and a very interesting roller coaster. why did you choose to put in a max spinning coaster?
Why did we choose a max spinning coaster? Well, I think we'd ridden them before when we knew how fun they were. And that's exactly what it is. It's fun. It's not thrilling. It's not gonna. Some people it might scare, but it's not a scary ride. In our sense. It's still a family coaster, but it is just so much fun. I mean, every time I ride it, I'm laughing and smiling, and based on where you're sat in the car, you get a different ride. Obviously, it's all free spinning. They're a high quality manufacturer, as we know. They make great rides, and it's just really good fun. Obviously, you can get a meter high child on it still, which is really important for us to be able to get those younger kids on the ride. I can't say much more other than it is really fun, and I can't wait for everyone else to have a go rather than just sort of me talking about it. You can actually experience it yourself.
Yeah, no, we can't wait to have a go either. I mean, one thing I have noticed is compared to the other roller coasters in the park, it definitely looks almost, as you said, it's not going to be very thrilling, but it looks more thrilling than everything else. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the most intense ride on the park, bar the final Flight of the Pterosaur Helix, which has always catched everyone by surprise.
Yes, it does.
That's good fun, that bit. But yeah, the whole ride itself is really cool. I can almost claim an inversion, but I can't. On the part, I don't know if you saw the part by Buffalo Falls where it nearly goes, but it doesn't really. But, it's a really cool ride, and as I say, based on where you're sat, who you're sat with, it's different every time. So there's a real re-rideability on it.
And talking of kind of the more thrilling rides, you've obviously got Stormchaser, but Cyclonator looks to be
that's more thrilling.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've done Tigaran at Geo Summerland. I don't know if you guys have done that one.
Which one? What does it do?
It's the gyro swing. It's the really tall, intimate. Gyro swing at Geo Summerland, and it's I think probably nearly, probably not double the size, but nearly double the size of this one. And I'd say it's still only 70%. Sort of, this one is 70% of the thrill of that one. I think even though it's double, you're still getting a really good ride. And if anything, the speed it goes through the sort of the bottom swing is so cool. I love that ride. It's so much fun.
No, it certainly looks like a good addition, and a more thrilling addition, which I find interesting. It almost seems like you're, I don't know, testing the water with this ride that is perhaps definitely a notch up from everything else.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think that's key. It is definitely a notch up from everything else. It's got a 1.2 meter height limit on it. So it's not our normal target market, but I think it's something that they really give that sort of scare factor, and it shows that it's sort of almost something for them to work up to as well. I mean, you can get a 6-year-old on that ride if they're brave enough. So it's not as if it's a real thrilling ride, but I mean, it's, for some people it's going to be something else. Yeah, I think it's nothing like we've ever had before on that level.
And I don't know how much you can obviously talk about this, but I guess two things. One is that we've already seen construction going on in the area behind Tornado Springs for what looks like a potential new ride / roller coaster. So everyone's very interested about what that'll be and when that'll come out. Can you talk about that and anything about that?
All I can say is stay interested.
Okay,
we will.
I imagine it's
there's no secret that there's something happening there, but I can't say what yet. But anyone with any knowledge of the industry will figure out what's going there. But
I have an idea of what might be going there.
Sure you do.
And I think it makes a lot of sense, the kind of the way that you've progressed it. It almost looks like it's an expansion, either of, I don't know, Tornado Springs or Peppa Pig, but it obviously looks more kind of Tornado Springsy, which is going to be very interesting. And then the second question is the trajectory of the park moving forwards. You have this core Peppa Pig, IP, and you've used that as kind of leverage to expand other areas of the park. What does the future of Paultons Park hold?
It's I mean, we're always planning for the future. We've got sort of plans for 4 or 5 years ahead of where we are now. there's nothing concrete that we've put into sort of plans or written in stone yet. But there's not too much I can say about it, as you can imagine. But yeah, we've got plans, and it will be. We'll always try and better ourselves, and we'll be doing similar things to what we've done before, improving old areas and reinvesting in certain areas around the park.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, we always have one question that we kind of end with for the guest episodes. Obviously, we've been talking quite a lot about the park and everything, but now we're kind of coming more back to you personally for this one. If you had to pick one coaster to be your last ride ever, what would it be? Another tricky one.
I'm not going to choose any at Paultons because that would be boring. I haven't ridden it, but I've always wanted to ride Top the Thrill Dragster. I know everyone says it's not all it's cracked up to be, but I just want to give it a go. To be honest, so that I'd go out with a bang and try that one out. I might hate it. I know that's the risk, but you know.
I mean, can you hate it though? It doesn't look like a very hateable ride, does it?
No, I think it looks fun.
Exactly. I guess you're a big fan of launch coasters then, if both of your answers have been launch coasters.
Yeah. I mean, I love all coasters. I love hypers. I love being over hyper coasters. I love Mako. I think that's what it's called, Mako at SeaWorld. I love that. Manta. I love Swarm at Thorpe. I think that's a really good ride. Nemesis is excellent at Alton. What else is really good? Helix. I mean, you can go on. There's so many amazing coasters out there. I would love to try them all. I'd love to try Formula Rossa.
Yeah.
Where is it? I always get it wrong where it is. Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, in Ferrari World, Abu Dhabi, yeah. You're well travelled then. You know, you've been to quite a few parks. It sounds like you've been to more parks than...
Me and my brother are a bit similar in that we like to, obviously, it's obviously all research what we do,
yes.
But it's a good excuse to get out there and look at what other people are doing. So in Europe, I think I've been to Leesburg, Gothenburg, Efteling, Toverland because they have a max spinning coaster.
Yes.
Phantasialand, Europa Park, maybe a few others I'm missing. I've obviously done Orlando, all the parks over there. I'd love to go to Bush and do Iron Gwazi. That's
yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Still, I've never done an RMC actually.
Really?
I think I missed.
We've only done one. I don't know. I was kind of a bit disappointed. I'm not gonna lie.
You're gonna get some comments.
I've already said it before.
Oh, he said it many a time.
I've already done it. I thought it was going to blow my mind to be this whole kind of new thing.
Yeah, that's the issue.
But it wasn't.
We didn't manage expectations, essentially.
No, managing expectations.
It's the hype. The hype around it
sure.
is unbelievable. I mean, they're brilliant, and I'm sure Iron Gwazi is excellent. I'd love to do the one at Colmarden.
Yeah, Wildfire. That's the one that we did.
Yeah, Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't do that.
No, I mean, by all means.
Prove us wrong. It's great.
It's a really, really, really good coaster, but it's just that
something happened on that day. I don't know. I'm
a sucker for like themes and just some sort of build up. You know, I feel like a ride. You
need immersion, is what you need.
A ride is so much better when there's almost a bit of tension, a bit of anticipation. You know, that kind of something before the ride to get you hyped for the ride. If that makes sense. But for me, Wildfire, nothing. It was just, here's a roller coaster. You're going to get on.
Go on it.
You're going to go up the lift hill, then you're going to go around it, and then you're going to get off. And
then you need to get off and rave about how good it was.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. You know, that's what most people do. But I was like, well, it's pretty good. But you know, I'm going to hit up Tornado Spring.
It's always the danger when you go and ride something that's been massively hyped and you're really excited for it, but you get there and you just sort of come off it like, I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
But I've had those moments as well. But I think with Hagrid's as well, I had a queuing nightmare with Hagrid's. We joined the queue start of the day and waited 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
The ride was broken down the whole way. We kept moving through the queue because people were leaving, and eventually we got exit passes. So we went over to the other park, and then as we literally went through the gate, we looked on the app and the ride was open again. So we legged it back over, roaring. It was going to break down again. And we just finally got on it. Yeah, it was worth it. It was hot. It was a hot day as well. As it always is.
Of course. Let's wrap it up by allowing people. Well, letting people know where they can find you, because you post quite a lot about Paultons Park and a lot of kind of behind the scenes stuff about Paultons Park.
I do. I try and keep it updated. It's mostly Tornado Spring spam, so if you don't want to look at that, then don't follow me. But I'm on Twitter at Lawrence_Mancey, or just search for me. I'm sure I'll pop up. Yeah, that's anywhere I am. But yeah, like I said, it's Tornado Spring spam, but there's sometimes some quite cool stuff.
Definitely. And when does Tornado Springs open?
19th of March 2021. Tickets are on sale now at paultonspark.co.uk/tickets.
Yay.
There you go.
There we go, we got it in there.
What day is that? Is that a Friday?
Yes, I think so.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's our first day of main opening for the whole season.
Nice.
Awesome. I mean, we'll be there as soon as we can. So.
Yeah.
Excellent.
See you there.